started now.
Move your volume.
No.
Hello, good evening, Jason. How are you today? How was your day? Hello, good evening. I was online in the afternoon and I guess everyone was busy, so I went out. I'm good, wonderful. That is wonderful to hear. Good evening, good evening. I hope you had a lovely day. Good evening, Lizzie Esther. How are you today? Good evening. As you're joining, please leave a comment so that I will greet you depending on your time intervals. We are in the evening now. It's past 7. Good evening, good evening. If you are joining for your very first time, I say welcome. This is Nurse Aisha. Today we are having a crucial matter. I will need everyone to come and let's talk this together. What would you do if you discover on the day of your marriage that your husband or your wife is unable to have a child? What will you do on your wedding night if you discover that you or your partner is unable to have a child? It's a serious topic. We have been fighting on this topic the whole of yesterday. And I'm like, let's come to a compromise. Let's hear from the others. What will you do? Hey, Veram. Good evening. How are you doing? What's your favorite color? My favorite color is red. I love red to the core. I love red. That's my favorite color. Good evening, good evening. Yesterday has been a very, very, very difficult day. Please, as you're joining, what will you do if you discover that your wife on your wedding night is unable to give you a child? Probably, let's say she told you so, or you discover by a medical record that her womb has been removed. Or what would you do as a man, as a lady, if you discover on your wedding night that your husband is impotent and you cannot have a child? This has caused a lot of chaos yesterday, and I don't want to keep this to myself because no matter what I said, it was like I'm not making sense. Everybody was wrapped into the joy of being married or whatsoever, and they are not looking at the bigger picture. So please, I want all of us to come together. A relationship is something that you and I will get into one day. And let's see, what will you do? How will you manage this situation? Please, if you're joining me for the first time, I'm Miss Aisha. And today we are talking on the myth that happens on the first day of marriage. I'm good, and you? I'm so good, Lizzie Esther. Thank you very much for joining my live today. Please keep your comments coming and let's brainstorm together. Hey, how are you doing today? I'm fine, Heather. I'm so very fine. And you, where are you writing from? Today, I think I'm seeing you for the very first time. I'm Nurse Aisha, and today we want to discuss on what are the things you're going to do if you discover on your day of your first day, your honeymoon night, that your husband is impotent or that your wife is does not have a womb. When I grow up, I will be a doctor. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. So when I see a future doctor or when I see a future nurse, this is how happy I look like. So please, when you grow up, I'll be here to show you the way. I'm so happy that we have future nurses and future doctors in the house. Stephen. Stephen, good evening. Here is Nurse Aisha. Please, if you are joining me for the very first time, leave a comment so that I might greet you depending on your location. Today we want to brainstorm on what you will do as an individual if you discover that your spouse, your wife, or your husband is impotent or does not have a womb on your wedding night. Probably, let's say you guys have been dating for the past 5 years and you have all built a dream around each other. And this individual has hide from you this very important information. Not that they did not know, they knew very well. What would you do? Hey Patience, how are you today? Are you preparing for work tomorrow? Important and infertility topic. Correct. Correct, Veram. It's a hot topic since yesterday. I'm telling you, the argument has been out of this war. And I know that the nursing gang here is something different. So I want us to talk about it. What will you do? Eton. Hey, good evening, Eton. From where are you writing, please? Please, if you are joining for the very first time, I'm Nurse Aisha. If you're joining, just say a hello, say a hi so that I can greet you depending on your location. And please, as you're coming in, share the live video so that others can join. Let's give our view. Today is an answer and question. Let's give our view so that we know the other's perspective and we know and we see, because today this individual might be in a critical situation where they need an idea. They just need somebody to help them and come out of this situation. So if you are in their shoe, what will you do? Especially for Asians, for Africans, and any other person who wants to build a life, who wants to have children, who wants to build a family, and you are now faced with the difficulties to decide for yourself what you would do. How do you handle that? I will surrogate. Yes, surrogacy is an option. Surrogacy is an option for somebody that is very matured and has the means. Because remember, if you are talking about surrogacy, then you have the means to go into it. No, I'm not a doctor. I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse. Please, if you're joining for the very first time, I say welcome. Today is a night with Nurse Aisha, and we just want to get into relationship matters. Yes, we call it womb. It's the uterus. All right. Now, if you discover that your partner is not having a uterus, so that is why I accepted your first answer that says surrogacy. Now, to be in a surrogate, that simply means that we can take an egg from the woman and we can fuse with the sperm from the man, and then we put it in another individual that will be able to carry our seed. But remember, this is going to work for somebody that is extremely rich, because you need to pay, and you need to pay heavily. To borrow somebody's womb for 9 months is a long time. Wow. I'm so proud of her. Please give her my respect. Give her my love. That the Nurse Aisha is extending greetings to the mothers and the fathers that have served the people with love, with dignity, with their patience, with their time, with their ears, with their hands, that may her days be long. May they be blessed. Good evening, good evening. As you're joining, please share the live video and leave a like and comment. Leave your comments as well as please subscribe. We are having a goal to get to 1,000. If you're a new subscriber, if you're a new YouTuber, please come here. Everyone is growing on this channel. On this channel, everyone. It's not about me, it's not about you. Every one of us is growing on this channel. I know there are people that love to be behind the cameras and they do the faceless channels. So this is opportunity to make a voice. Oh, my mother is in the house. Good evening, good evening, good evening, sweet mother. Kisses, kisses, kisses. Please extend some love to my mom if she's in the house. Mommy Rose, how are we today? So today we are talking about relationship matters. What would you do in a situation that you have dated someone for the past 5 years, for the past 4 years, and you realize that on your wedding night, the individual is impotent or do not have a womb, what is medically called a uterus? What will you do? Now, thank you so very much, Venom. Thank you so very much for giving a shout out to my beautiful mother. Good evening, good evening, good evening. So we want to get the minds of the people who are matured enough. Veram has said he is just going to go in for surrogacy. No questions asked. Because he has already gone through the well, it seems like you are not even angry for the first place that the individual lied to you. That is incredibly, because yesterday we had so many people badging on each other for like, no, she lied, no, he lied, and the whole place was chaos. In fact, we ended up, nobody came to a compromise because we are looking at how you dated someone for 5 years, the individual lied to you, and you think for 1 second you discover and that is going to be okay. Well, mom, it could happen. It could happen that you never knew. This is a medical situation that does not present with signs and symptoms until when you try to start looking for a family together. Because if you are dating someone, yes, to some extent you are right. They probably are stupid too, because each time we tell people, each time we tell the youth, each time we tell brothers and sisters, mothers, that when you get into a relationship, before you even start a relationship, it is always advisable that you and the individual go to the hospital, get checked, check your blood genotype, check your HIV status, check if you're having any STDs that can impair or that can cause future problems for fertility. Check on the mental status of that individual. Check on their family history. This might be a family of epileptic patients, which is hereditary. This might be a family for people that are obese. This might be a family with individuals that have mental issues. You need to check all these things before you try to get into a relationship with somebody. But when you say so, people will be like, how many of the individuals are going to be able to pay for this test? And moreover, these days, young people just want to get into a relationship and they are everywhere. And today they are in another relationship and the next day they are in another relationship. And they'll be like, how many people will I be going to the hospital to do this test? It's better I just live my life. And when I want to get married, I will now go into doing the checks. And because of this, many people have found themselves getting married to someone that they have no idea what this individual status is. What if impotent patient increase sperm through good diet does fertility to a healthy good partner? Of course, as if you are already having problems that you are impotent, you can definitely increase your fertility by always making sure, because if you are impotent, there are thousands and thousands of men out there who are impotent and successfully got a woman pregnant. The problem here is not about you being impotent or you not having a uterus. The problem here is the deception that you are going to bring someone into your life and not tell them that you have a medical issue. Because I always say, somebody will like, is everybody keeps secret? That is true. Everyone has one or two secret. You can keep a secret, but can you at least tell somebody something that will affect them in the future? Because it's not just about you. It's about you, it's about them, it's about your family, it's about their family. If they are going to be standing up for you, they should be standing up for you because they know very well that this particular issue is not going to know. Not now. They should be knowing, they should get into a relationship with you, understanding that this is what is wrong with them. Exactly, mommy. Check everything, including genotype, music. Good evening. Thank you for joining my live today. I'm so grateful you said you were going to be here today. Thank you so very much. Good evening, good evening. The first thing I always say during relationship counseling is that get your genotype checked. Now, many patients come to the hospital, many parents come to the hospital with their children who are having sickle cell crisis, and that is when they are discovering that they are AS. How are you just discovering now that you already have a child? These are parameters that you are supposed to check before you come to the hospital, before you get married. And if you miss that step, you are definitely trying to live your life like as though you are in hell. And somebody, don't tell me that because you have money, you have the right to bring a child on earth to come and suffer. No. You have money, that is true. But then do you have the right to make a child suffer that much? Do you know the severity of sickle cell crisis? How many children do you want to give birth to that are going to suffer from sickle cell crisis? Because most at times people believe that it is 50% chance out of your total pregnancy for you to have a child that is sickle cell. No, it is 50% chance out of every pregnancy. That simply means out of every pregnancy, you have a 50% chance of giving birth to a child that is sickle cell, that has sickle cell genes. The genotype is not something you should miss. As you are talking to someone, that's why I said, let's just make it a habit that each and every youth go to the hospital and get to know what their genotype is all about. So that when you sit on the table on your very first date and you're talking to the lady and you're talking to the man, what is your genotype? And you say, I'm AA. And he says, I'm SS. There's no problem with that. You both can go ahead. What is your HIV status? My last check 3 months ago, I am negative. And you say my last check 2 months or 3 months or 2 weeks ago, I was negative. All right, do you think we should go to the hospital and be checked together? What is your family history? Now, the importance of knowing somebody's family history is just so that you do not bring two chaotic family history together and then give birth to children that are all carrying the same genes. Imagine you coming from a family where you have history of obesity. Or imagine you coming out from a family where we have history of mental disorders. I coming out from a family that we have mental disorders. And then you think our children will be safe? They are not going to be safe. So respectfully, of course, I am simply going to tell you that this relationship no go work. That nothing will work with this relationship. It is very important to be rational when you are getting into a relationship. Don't just get into a relationship and then you start building blocks and start building a relationship 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and then okay, you now decide to get married. That is when you go to the hospital to even know if you both have STDs, to even know if you guys were negative. Yes, I have seen ladies or patient come to the hospital with the wife being HIV positive, and she tells you, don't tell my husband. He has no idea I'm HIV positive. Madam, for real? You guys are in a relationship and the one you claim to love does not know you're HIV positive and you want to keep that a secret? Are you trying to infect them? Because you are keeping it as a secret and you are taking treatment for it. But you are not taking necessary steps, or the individual that you are dating is not keeping necessary steps to make sure that they too does not get infected. Well, we have the most common STDs here to be chlamydia. It is most rampant around my own area. Beauty Bo 100%. Thank you so very much, Beauty Bo. I am so glad to see you today. Welcome to my life. I'm Nurse Aisha, and today we are going to be talking on some very pertinent relationship problems that occurs because of deception and lies. And we want to know, on an individual and level-headed mind, what will you do? Most people in my environment will start diagnosed for pelvic inflammatory disease. The first thing we'll ask as a lab exam is chlamydia, and most often their chlamydia is positive. And when your chlamydia is positive, this should be somebody that has been carrying chlamydia for the past 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and has shared it to as many people as you can ever imagine. Because in women, it is asymptomatic. Women often do not have any signs and symptoms for chlamydia. So they can carry it for 10 years, for 15 years, and they don't have any signs and symptoms. But when a man contracts chlamydia, they will start having purse, they will start having rashes, they will start having discomfort, and this will prompt them to go to the hospital and get checked and then get treated, only to go back and carry it from where they left. Beautiful, I'm so glad to meet you today. Thank you so very much for joining my live. Please, if you are joining for the very first time, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It's your girl Aisha. Please show me some love. Show me some love. And if you're a young YouTuber, please leave your YouTube handle and we will subscribe. We want to grow together. Let's not wait for the multi-million subscribers to give us a shout out. They are not going to do that. And if they would do that, you pay money for it. I can't even buy a good camera for myself, so I'm never going to pay for somebody to give me a shout out. Well, I think what only request is you request for chlamydia. The laboratory technicians know what they do with it. We have rapid tests for chlamydia, and then I think they have the biochemistry, something that they do for the chlamydia. There's rapid tests that you can do here. We have rapid test for chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis. We equally have rapid tests for typhoid and malaria, and then HIV. So what will you do? How will you manage a deceptive partner? What will you tell? What will happen? Because I don't think it's about being HIV positive. You can definitely get married to somebody that's HIV positive, even if you're negative. As long as the individual takes their medication correctly and bring their viral load very low, it can be so low that it will not be detected on machine. And because of this, it is going to help you to be able to prevent having HIV. All right, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. You know, we just request. Most often, we really don't know what goes into the laboratories. It's like another department all on its own. You just request and they will do it. So what will you do? How will you manage the situation? If you are in the case whereby your husband, your boyfriend, or you get married to somebody and after maybe 2 months or 3 months in marriage, you realize that they are taking antiretrovirals and you have no idea because you got married without checking any test at all. You got married without going to the hospital to get checked. It happens every day. You see people bringing children to the hospital. I don't know what is wrong with my child. The child is convulsing. The child is having crisis. There is pain. There is a lower pain at the lower limb, severe pains. There are cramps. There is crisis. The child is uncontrollably. Only for us to check the HB. HB is 3. We check. We check for genotype is SS. And then you're like, Mama, this child is SS. Do you know your genotype? She says no. Papa, do you know your genotype? He says no. We now start checking for the mother and for the father. Probably the mother is AS and the father is AS. And they had no idea and they got married. She's pregnant again for another child. Problem. No, this is serious. Exactly, mom. Exactly, beautiful. The first thing to do, I will say it and I will say it again. I tell my students, I'm telling you this each time because I know that they are young and they will get themselves into a Damian. Wow, it's been a while. Good evening. How are you today? I'm so happy to have you on live. Damian, good evening. Good evening from my country. I know it's evening here. I don't know what is your time there. If it's afternoon, good afternoon. Today, we are brainstorming on relationship matters and to see how we can make informed choices. Nowadays, I guess that's what you want to say. Prostate gland cases also increase more. Yes, I think we have a lot of prostatitis or prostate cancer. To us here, it's not really a big deal. All right, we don't have most cases of prostatitis. I think in my place of work, we haven't diagnosed even one patient with prostatitis. But I can tell you we have had more than 1,000 cases of chlamydia. Prostatitis is really rare. And prostate cancer is like 1 in 1 million cases here in Cameroon. So I guess the men are really doing well for themselves. So it is very, very important that patients, students, people go to the hospital. It's not about you saying, no, I know him for some time, he is okay. Never you vouch for somebody's medical status. For the fact that I look healthy, for the fact that I look strong, for the fact that I look good, does not mean I'm safe. You can get married to whoever, whether they are sick, whether they are not sick, whether they can give you a child, whether they cannot have a child. But when going into such a relationship, when going into such a marriage, you should be able to know for yourself that this is what is going to happen. You should be able to know for yourself that I am getting into this relationship because I want to. What are you? What are you doing? You should be getting into the relationship because you want to. Because you are sure that you love this person beyond any type of disease condition. Because patient has come to the hospital and they cry, "Mom, I just discovered that my husband is HIV positive. We have 3 children and I don't know what to do. I am coming for my blood test. I want to check my blood. When is the last time you ever did HIV test?" And she's like, "I cannot remember." Probably I do it often because I'm a healthcare personnel and we get exposed to blood fluids like every day. Only God knows how He helps us. Like, each time I think of how much exposure we get, I just can't stop appreciating and thanking God for saving my life and the life of all the other nurses each day as we go on duty. So yes, I just make myself a routine check. 3 months, 2 months. There are times that when they want to do, or the laboratory technician is trying to do an exam and realize that they keep having positive results. So they want to be sure if their equipments are correct and if they are giving them the right information. They will always come to the ward and like, "Nurse Aisha, can I taste you? Because my equipments keep giving me positive. I don't know if it is the right thing or is the wrong thing or is the fault by the equipments are faulty." Then you get checked. Yeah, free checks, You get checked. It is always easy. Or with some period of time, you go to the hospital and you get checked. Get yourself monitored. Get your blood, do your biometrics often. Well, in our country, we recommend that it should be checked after every 3 months because the rate of HIV is alarming. Here you see an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, 20 years old with HIV. So yes, we advise here that you should do your HIV check every 3 months. And if I get pricked with a needle from someone that is HIV positive, then I start taking antiretroviral as prophylaxis for 3 months, and then I check. If it is negative, I will stop the retrovirals, and then I'll check again after 3 months. If it is negative, I'll check the third time, and if it's still negative, then I will stop. I'll know that I'm not infected. So we always advise a patient, do your check, keep checking yourself. So the big question today is, what will you do in a situation where you realize that you got married to someone that is impotent? And not that they did not know, they knew and did not tell you. What will you do? What will you do to someone? What will you do in a situation that you realize that you got married to a woman that has no uterus? Not that they did not know. Stop what you're doing. Not that they did not know, they knew, but they decided to keep this information away from you. If you find yourself in that situation, what will you do? We are brainstorming because it just happens to someone and it can happen to you. Not praying that something bad should happen to you. And it needs somebody with an open mind to face this situation. Are you going to divorce the person? Are you going to go back home and like, "I will not do this"? Is the deception big enough for you to file for divorce? Or are you going to welcome the situation with open hands? Like Viram said, "I will go for surrogacy." Will you opt for surrogacy? Or in a situation where the man is impotent, how will you do it, Viram? How will you do it if you are a lady and you get married to a man and only discover that he is impotent? What will you do? Because now surrogacy will not work. How will you manage that situation? Please, as you're joining, let's keep sharing the live video so that others can join. I'm so grateful to have you all today. Today, let's talk about how to make a happy relationship. Let's try to help somebody solve an a very difficult situation. No idea, ma. So you see, it was easy to solve if it was the situation of a woman. So if you are a woman and the man is important, how will you solve it? And you really want to have a big family. You want to be a mother. You want to have children. You want to have like 5 children. Or let's say 8. In Africa, there are mothers that want to have like 10. Even though there's a lot of poverty and there's a lot of everything that you can ever think of, people still want to have children. So how are you going to solve that? Or let's say you get married, you dated a man for 4 years, 5 years, without ever bothering to go do laboratory checks, and only to discover that this man, when you got married, you discover that the person is taking medications. The person is on antiretroviral. Mind you that you guys have been a 4 years relationship. You have been having unprotected sexual intercourse, and you have no idea that they've been on treatment. And you just discovered this after you got married and you started living with them. Then you discover the individual is on medication. What will you do? Indeed, in a case of a lady, it's difficult to give an answer. Are you going to divorce the man? Or are you going to sit and cheat on him? Or are you going to live together and be childless? Or are you going to get married and pray that the Lord does what he loves or what he knows how to do best? Because sometimes, I tell you, God works in miraculous ways. Is your faith that strong enough? Do you believe that the Lord can do it? Or will you give up and just go home and say, no, I can't take it? So what if it is in a situation where the man is HIV positive or the woman is HIV positive and has been taking treatment, and you've been in a relationship with the individual without the person telling you, and only after marriage you discover that this individual is taking antiretroviral? Probably one day you want to reach the house and then you discover the antiretroviral treatment. What will you do? Yeah, you rush to the hospital crying and then asking us what are the possibilities. And then you are going to start taking your own antiretrovirals, or you are going to run a series of laboratory exams just to discover that you too got infected. What will you do? Or let's say, what will you do in a situation whereby you got married to your husband and you both had a complete check, and you realize that the wife is SS and the husband is AA, but during you realize that your child is having, your first daughter or your first son is having sickle cell crisis. And then when you get to the hospital and they decided to check for laboratory exams, they realize that electrophoresis indicate that the child is SS. That simply means your wife probably cheated on you with another man and had an SS child. Don't blame also, because I know that people will come and say they change the child in the hospital. We don't change people's children in the hospital. We give each child to the mother. So don't say that we changed that child. We did not. Don't come and accuse us of things that we did not do. I'm very angry when I get that statement. People keep saying they changed the child in the hospital. So do you really? Somebody told me one time is change it and give her a male child. Are you for real? I bet don't say things like that too. I don't want to hear those statements. Tell me, what will you do? Patience says, I have faith and I know that my God is a miracle working God. So I will get down on my knees in prayers. I'll get down on my knees praying and hoping for a miracle from God. Thank you so very much, Patience. Patience is going to be a prayer warrior because to her, there is nothing our Lord Jesus cannot do. Yes, there is nothing the Lord cannot do. So, Patience, I'll send back the question to you. Are you going to underlook the fact that the person lied to you? First, I have to cover genotype chapters. Yes. It's a good thing to start with. Do you know your genotype? Please, if you're alive, comment what is your genotype. So let's know that people know their genotype and we can start matchmaking them. If your SS indicates there is no stigmatization with genotype, please. Everyone has a different genotype, and no matter what genotype you have, I am AA, so yes, I am a universal genotype. I can get married to whoever. SS, AS, AC, whatever the genotype might be, without having any problem. But do you know your own? Really, I do not know my genotype. That is going to be the biggest question. Because there are many people who don't know. And don't think that they are just people, the community that don't know. If you get into the hospitals and you ask the doctors, the nurses, the healthcare assistants, what is your genotype? You see somebody who tells, I don't know my genotype. There will see people who tell you, I don't know. Veram, go and do your electrophoresis. Go and do your electrophoresis. Your medical doctor, when you're talking, you should now start talking with example. You should lead by example. Go and do your electrophoresis. Yes, take a plane. Go and do your electrophoresis. There is no place for you without that electrophoresis here. Do your electrophoresis and come and tell us your results. If your AS, we will start looking for you a partner that is AA. If your SS, will start looking for you a partner that is SS. We'll start pairing people. So that is good. It's good that you know. And then you can be able to get an open conversation with somebody on their very first date. But if you don't know, how do you want to go about it? You have to start doing that. And electrophoresis in Cameroon is very expensive. It's about 11 or 12,000. Which that should be like in dollars should be 12,000. Let's just say $6. No. Yes, let's say $6. That is what we can have that be here. $6 in people that are in the US and the UK and in the European countries or in the American countries, they will not see that to be a big deal. So us, it's a big deal. It's so much a big deal because we don't work up to $1 per day. So it's a big deal. That means that you have actually taken your salary and almost sent half of it just doing that. So many people don't do it because they're afraid of the cost. That is what I said. If you are taking for your own currency, $6 is not a big deal. But to us, $6 is a big deal. We don't work up to $1 a day. Yes, there are many people that are not earning up to $1 a day in my country, Cameroon. There are many people that are not even earning up to $5 in a week. So how that? it's a sacrifice and we have to do it. Please, let's go and do it. $6. Yeah. Somebody should give me a calculator. Multiply 6 times 650. So it is a big deal. It's a very big deal. 650. 3,900. No. That is not it. The $6 is too small. 3,900. So multiply $20 times 650. Let's get 650. All right. No, that is too small. That's too small. The amount is $20. The amount is $20. So $20 here, 3,500, 3,900 for $6. I think that is approximately. The explosion. $3, $6 here. Most of the families earn like 1,000 a day. 1,000 a day. So we'll be talking about $2. $2 a day. Working for 24 hours. Working for 14 hours working for 12 hours, 14 hours, 8 hours for $2 a day. So if you want to go get right up to $20, 20. You don't walk, oh. You have walk until your back is bent. Well, that is true. That is true. All right. Every human being can sin. We are all humans. In as much as I will not want anybody to lie to me on something as important as that. Sometimes if you claim that you love somebody, the first thing to do is to tell them and give them the opportunity to make an informed choice. Because they will say if somebody has hide something as big as that, then they're hiding much more. Now, if you got married and then you realize that you cannot deliver, or you realize that your husband is important, that is a different story. But then if he knew already that he is important and he did not tell you, then he is not coming from a place of love. It's not coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place of deceit. Someone should not drag you into living a life that you did not bargain for. Now, you think that if you love somebody, you're going to refuse to get married to that person because the person is important? No. You get married to the person if you love the person. And you're going to give it to God to do what no man can do. But get into that relationship by your own decision. Take a decision to get there, knowing fully well that you are going to be insulted, you are going to be barred, you're going to be hated for it, and then you accept it. Rather than getting into the relationship, rather than getting into the marriage, and only being told on your wedding day that, I'm sorry, I don't have a uterus. I did not tell you because I was afraid that you will not marry me. And then you think marriage can keep that? No. How many people have gotten married until they make 20 years in marriage and divorce? So if you are lying to somebody to get married to the person, then seriously, you are too much. You are just a child and you should not be getting married. Please, nurse, how much is the salary here in Cameroon for a month for nurses and doctors, please? All right. For nurses, the salary range from 40,000. It can be as low as 40,000 and as high as 180, 200. So you can, it depending on the category. If you're an SRN and HND nurse, you can be paid as low as 40,000 or 45,000, or and as high as 100 or 110, 120 in Cameroon. If you're a bachelor's degree nurse, you can be paid as low as 80,000 or 85,000, and then as much as 200 or 210, 250, depending on the establishment, the hospital that you're working in. For doctors, I really don't know how much they are paid, but I know that their pay range can be as low as 150 and as high as 250, 280, 300. I'm not sure if they get to 300, but probably yes, they can get to 300. That is depending on where they are working. Because I know that the Brazil people that are working with the company Brazil, what is Brazil's Brazaris company, they employ nurses and they pay very well. They pay nurses like 200,000, 250. And people that are working under NGOs, the HIV NGOs, the whatsoever NGOs, the mental health NGOs or whatsoever, they are paid well. They pay 200, 300, 400. So the American hospital pay 400, 450, 500 because they pay you in dollars. You only need to get yourself a good hospital and you get a good salary. All right, okay. Okay, Veram, I'll be here. So those are the different paychecks that you can get, patients, for individuals, for nurses. So that is why I keep insisting, as a nurse, as a nursing student, try as much as you can to study, to make sure that you get the best out of your educational career. You should pass your exam correctly. You should go on internship and you should do your internship correctly, so that when that time comes when you need to start showing your skills as a nurse, they are not going to question which school you are coming from. They are not going to question your dignity as a nurse. They are not going to question your educational background. But you are going to be received. You are going to be appreciated. Your knowledge is going to be appreciated by the people. And they are going to see how wonderful you can offer exceptional care. Because what we are looking for is you bringing that one thing that not everybody has. Don't be any other nurse. Because if you're any other nurse, you can be replaced at any other time. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining. I'm Nurse Aisha. Let's grow together. Let's grow together. What program? This is Operation 1K subscribers. Operation 1K sub. I'll be online tomorrow. I'll be online the day after tomorrow, and then on Sunday I'll be working night, so I will not be online. I might come online in the afternoon. I tried coming online in the afternoon today, and I realized that that is probably not when my team, my community is online, because I came online and there were no people online. I was just there by myself. I came online like 3 times. I came in, went out, came in, went out, came in, went out. Good evening. If you're me for the very first time, please leave a comment so that I can greet you personally. And Tell us where you're watching from. Good evening, please. If you're coming in, I'm Miss Aisha. Today we are just walking around and seeing those challenges that we could have pertaining to health, that how would you handle in situations whereby you discover on your wedding day that your boyfriend, now be your husband, having dated for 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, was impotent all along and did not tell you. How will you manage the situation? Will you pack and go back home? Will you divorce your husband? Will you sit there and pray, as according to Patience, Nurse Patience, she said, I will be there and I will pray and I'll go down on my knees and I'll give it to God? Or will you decide to be in that marriage and cheat on your husband in order to have children? Or what will happen in a situation whereby what will happen if you discover on your wedding night that your wife does not have a uterus, or all she has done total hysterectomy? What would you do? Good evening, please. If you're online, leave a comment. If the live is not going, should I stop the live and restart it? Should I stop the live and restart it all over again?
Yes. It looks sense.